it's Lynnea, and today I have the card kit video for the Flavor of the Month card kit by Scrapping for Less, and this is the December 2018 card kit. The theme is Animals in the Arctic, and it is just full of cute stamps and papers and embellishments, everything you need to make a bunch of cards. I have a full unboxing video on my YouTube channel, and I will link to it here. This video is just going to be showing you how to create a card with each of the collections. I'm not showing you everything in this video, so if you want to see the products that are in this kit, I will link to my unboxing video in the description below. So I'm using sketch 1 for my first card, and I will show you that sketch in just a minute. But I'm using collection 1, and I have the stamp set Bear Hugs by Sunny Studio. I stamped out the little bear image onto some watercolor cardstock, and now I'm using some liquid watercolors to color him in. And I found some sparkle. It's just clear glitter, and you can add it to watercolors, or I'm guessing really to anything. You could even add some to just water and spray your cardstock for a glittery look. There is so much shimmer in this product. I am in love with it. So here's the first sketch, and this is the one that I'm using today. So I have already watercolored that bear, and I have this piece of cardstock. This is from Alexandra Ranke, and it's in the collection 1. I thought that I would be using it, but you're going to see in the end I change it. And that kind of broke my heart a little bit because I love this cardstock, and I'm going to use it in the future, but it just didn't work for my card design. So I have a vellum circle that I die cut, and I'm going to be stamping all of the little snowflakes from the Bear Hug stamp set. I'm using Versamark ink, and I've added all 4 of those snowflakes to my block, and I'm just going to build up my background of snowflakes, and I will use some white embossing powder. I'm putting out my little sentiment into my Misty here, and I'm using Misty Creative Corner to help me get this sentiment straight. And the sentiment is sending big bear hugs. And I'm going to be trimming them out individually to kind of fit with that sketch. You saw there were little banners on the left-hand side. I'm stamping it in some black ink here, but you can see here I ended up changing it over to some Faded Jeans Distress Oxide ink. I created a little snowbank using a stitched die, and I adhered that onto my vellum cardstock, and I'm just going to be adding some little dots of glue behind each of the snowflakes so that I can glue this onto my my cardstock. And you kind of see that peeking out. I switched over to one of the Winter Skies papers by Scrapping for Less. I love how this kind of looks like Northern Lights, and I just think it's so pretty, and it worked a lot better than that other cardstock that I had out originally. So here's my little bear. He's all dry. You can see how glittery he is. I think it's perfect for this card. I have used some foam squares behind him, and I'm just going to be adding him onto that little snowbank, and then I will just kind of add those banners to the left. I'm showing you this sketch again. I kind of tweaked it just a little bit, but I think those banners on the left with the circle make it so cute, and I really think that tweaking sketches is okay. So here I am. I'm going to be using collection 2 with sketch number 2, and I'm going to tweak this one just a little bit as well. The last 2 sketches that I used, sketch 3 and 4, I'm going to be following that pretty much to the letter, but these first 2 I kind of tweaked a little. So in collection 2, there is this stamp. It's Penguin at the Mug by Stamping Bella. I die cut a stitched circle and stamped that little penguin right onto my watercolor circle. And I used VersaFine Onyx Black ink with some clear embossing powder over it. I have my Staedtler felt tipped markers. These are water-based markers, and this is what I use all the time for watercoloring. I'm just going to be adding some color where I think the shading is and where the darkest parts will be. And then I'm going to add just some clean, clear water and pull out that color so that I have areas that are darker and they blend into areas that are lighter. And this is how I'm going to be coloring the whole penguin. I'm not going to be leaving all of my coloring in because I really want this video to be about the sketches and creating cards. My penguin looked like he was just kind of floating. So I grabbed a dark gray marker And I'm just kind of scribbling down some areas of color just to give him a little ground that he's sitting on and a little bit of shadow. And then I'm going to be pulling that out with my water brush. So it doesn't really matter how you scribble that color on because you can see it all blended out in the end. And I thought that I would add some blue so that he was kind of sitting on the ground, maybe outside somewhere. And so I just added some blue marker onto my craft mat and just colored that in with some water. These papers are called Chill by Scrapping for Less in Collection 2. And I love this pattern that looks like an argyle sweater. I think it's gorgeous. And all those little dots are actually, they look like little hearts to me. So that is going to be my background piece. I have another strip of the cardstock, and I'm going to be adhering that down to the background with just some tape runner adhesive, and I'll trim off the excess. You're going to see me come in here and glue down the big circle, and this is also one of the papers. You can see here that these are double-sided, and so the other side was this gorgeous dark gray color that matched the background. That's why I love paper collections that are double-sided, because a lot of times you have patterns on one side and either larger scale patterns or maybe even like this, how it's just a color on the back and the colors all match because it's all part of the same collection. So I always check out both sides of the pattern papers and see what I can use. This little purple ribbon is from collection 1, but I didn't use it on my first card. And I thought that the purple would be nice as just a splash of color in the background. I'm going to be adding some of the sequins, and these are by Buttons Galore, also from the second collection. And you can see there I added a little sentiment strip. And that's going to be it for card number 2 from using collection 2 ingredients and the second sketch. Okay, so let's move on to sketch number 3 and collection 3. In this sketch, I have kept it pretty much exactly like how the sketch is. The sketch has little annotations of the paper sizes, and so I've cut my little papers down exactly to how the sketch is. The stamp set is by Pink and Main, exclusive for Scrapping for Less, and it's called Winter Pals. It is so cute. I love this pudgy little polar bear. This whole collection is probably my favorite out of the card kit. So I grabbed a sentiment, and this is actually from the Banana Split. You get the extras, and it is the Arctic Sentiments by Scrapping for Less. And I just thought the Have a Snuggly Day was so cute with this chubby polar bear. So I laid out my scene how I wanted it, and I had to do a bit of masking. And when you do masking, you stamp whatever you want in front first. So I wanted my polar bear to be in front, so I stamped him first with some Versamark ink onto watercolor cardstock. I cut a mask, I put that right over the polar bear, and then I arranged the rest of the images how I wanted them to be. And now I have a masked little scene. This paper is from the Frosty collection by Pink and Main, and I loved those little aqua colors. So I'm going to be pulling out of the aqua and the purple colors for this scene, but I'm keeping everything more in the cool tones because I wanted this little wintry scene to be a little frosty. So I have my Staedtler watercolor markers again, and to make these snow caps and the polar bear appear white, I added some shading where I wanted it to be darker and pulled it out with my water pen. And in the end, I kind of lost a lot of my shading on the snow caps. I pulled out too much of the color, but it stayed on my polar bear, so I was happy with that. For the little iceberg here, I'm using a super light blue, and it makes the ice look cold. Like this color blue, when I see it, I just think of cold. So I thought it was perfect for the ice. You can see here I colored my little fish like a teal blue. In the end, I didn't like it. I thought it blended in with the water. So you're going to see that I do change him to purple. For my water, I have a another icy color blue, and I'm just kind of scribbling down, not making anything too perfect because I'm going to come in with water and blend it out, and when I scribble and kind of leave some texture behind. So you can see here, I have a piece of the, I think it's the grape jelly cardstock, and it's from this kit, and I wanted that to be my most background layer, but I'm not about to waste all of my purple cardstock. I don't have a lot of colored cardstock, so I definitely conserve it. So I knew that I was going to be layering some more pattern paper on top, so I took that, and after I trimmed it down to the size I wanted it to be, I used my paper trimmer and just cut out the middle, and that way I can keep that in my stash of colored paper, and nobody will ever know because there's lots of stuff layered on top. I added some Wink of Stella to my polar bear and to the little ice caps and the fish, and that is it for this card. I love this little sparkle snowflake. I cut that die out of some sparkle cardstock, and I think it's just super cute. So for collection 4, I'm using sketch 4, and again, it is straightforward. I changed up the first 2, so I tried to keep the last 2 pretty straightforward. I'm using the Arctic Animals stamp set by LDRS and the Arctic Snowfall pattern paper collection, also by LDRS. And this one is super clean and simple, just some die cutting and trimming of the pattern paper, and that's really it. I've stacked up my sentiment from the stamp set. I'm going to be heat embossing it onto the bubblegum cardstock from the kit. I used that bubblegum cardstock as part of my background, and again, you can see there, I cut out the center so I could keep that. And for this one, I used some liquid glue. That lets me kind of wiggle my cardstock around, and I just use my fingernail and kind of push and pull the cardstock where I need it to go. I don't work with layers often because I can't get them straight. So the liquid glue definitely helps a lot because even here you can see I'm moving my die cut around. So I used some stacked die cuts for this, and I was only going to use this one that I'm putting glue on now, but then I thought that it would be super cool to have that popped up and have like a frame. And that's what's really cool about stacked die cuts, is that you can cut out frames with them if you just cut 2 of the dies together. I doubled up on my fun foam, and I used green. I should have used a pink or a blue, but I wasn't thinking. But it's super dimensional, and I love it. I stuck this little snowflake. It is by Jolie. It's just like a little sticker. I stuck that in the middle and added sentiment, and that's it. So this is kind of like a bonus card. I'm going to use some products from the Banana Split level. I have some fossilized amber distress oxide ink, and I'm just creating a little background for this little penguin. He is the penguin die by Yvonne Creations. He is super cute. I can see mass producing this card, just changing up the background and maybe even the color of the little penguin. I'm using the Arctic Sentiment stamp set by Scrapping for Less, and this is also included in the Banana Split level. I'm going to be stamping down that Have a Snuggly Day sentiment again, using some worn lipstick, Distress Oxide ink. And then I'll glue this penguin onto my card, and that's it. Super clean and simple, and you could definitely mass produce these. I'm thinking I'm using this little penguin for thank you cards for after Christmas. So let's take a look at all the cards I made using this kit. I really love this whole Animals in the Arctic kit. It's super cute. And now I'm going to show you some cards that I made for my sneak peek post. I didn't do this in the video, but I thought I would include it because I made them with the kit. And that is all. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye.